Blade Runner is a fantastical world filled with wonder and suspicion, forcing its audience to explore the deepest parts. But within this story lies an element that many people brush past without even realizing. It is prevalent in almost every single piece of media, whether that be marketing, photography, advertising, and many others. The secret? Color. Color is everywhere in our world, and in most ways, influences our emotions. Blade Runner is a perfect example of this. Its use of color elevates the watcher's experience to another level, and again, without them even realizing. It is such a powerful tool in film that different color could potentially change the entire feel of a scene. Blade Runner was released in 1982, starring Harrison Ford as Deckard. He is a Blade Runner, a person who hunts artificial human beings called replicants. Set in a dystopian Los Angeles in November 2019, the film introduces a world where replicants, created by the Tyrell Corporation, are used for off-world slave labor. After a violent mutiny, replicants are banned on Earth, and Blade Runners are tasked with retiring, or killing, any who return. Deckard, a former Blade Runner, is coerced back into the service when 4 Nexus 6 replicants, Roy Batty, Pris, Zora, and Leon, escape to Earth. Throughout the story, Deckard faces extreme challenges as we follow along. The movie rarely explains major points within, leaving the plot and story up to interpretation for the viewers. The timeline is very unclear, and the events happen quite rapidly. Behind this spectacular film, there is a use of color that we can pick apart. Contrasting colors give the audience certain vibes, leading to drastically different scenes. You may not notice within our daily lives how much color influences us, especially when not focusing on it. For example, warm hues of colors can make us feel excited or enthusiastic, whereas colder hues can make us calm or feel relaxed. It also depends on the source of that color, either that being nature or artificial. Color within nature is used for a variety of reasons, some examples being poisonous snakes or animals that use color to hide and camouflage themselves. Artificially, color can be used in marketing to help grab people's attention with extremely saturated colors that stand out and make our brains interested. It can also be linked to convey a message like a stop sign. But color is also very important within certain cultures, probably most notably being black during funerals. This dark color almost helps us grieve the person we have lost, aiding our feeling of mourning and unfortunate times. Compared to other cultures, like those in indigenous communities all around the world, which have extremely colorful gatherings celebrating the past. This outward expression of color is present in almost all cultures around the world. In film, color can shape how viewers experience a scene. Let's say you have a sad scene, in which colors are very sad and miserable. The scene sits as a depressing moment within the film, helped by that sad color. Now take the same scene and swap the cold colors for a warmer and brighter tone. Now that part of the film changes and gives off an entirely different feel. This influence also transcends the impact of dialogue and action, meaning the morphing of this feature could fully change a scene. Inside of Blade Runner, there are a bunch of colors that we can explore, but we will focus on blue, orange, yellow, green, and white. All of these different colors symbolize different feelings that the movie attempts to make us feel. Let's begin with blue. This is the most common color in the entire film, and it represents a bunch of different emotions. But the primary emotion of this color inside of Blade Runner is something of anxiety. This bluish gray we can see for a majority of the film makes us feel uneasy, nervous, and on the other side of the coin, calm and soothed. It glooms over the scenes and forces the audience to try to figure out what is happening in every scene, as nothing is explained. This mysterious feeling follows us until the final moments of the film. Another important color is orange. This color represents power and trust, which creates thought-provoking scenes within the movie. We see orange in the most powerful moments of Blade Runner, like when we first meet Tyrell in his office or quarters. Yellow is somewhat adjacent to orange, being used as a calm break between the stress we feel when watching the film. This can be seen when we view Deckard inside of his apartment, which all of these scenes are calm, but interesting. The last two colors are unique, only showing up a couple of times. White, during the Eye Curator scene, making the replicants seem almost more mysterious than they already are, almost causing us to shiver in the cold. The replicants act uncanny compared to the other characters, and this is supported by the blues and whites we've discussed so far. The last color is quite possibly the most important color of the lot. Green, which is only seen once in the entire movie. This is the shocking scene inside of Deckard's mind during a vision in which a unicorn is present. There's a mystical feel to this moment, as the unicorn is a famous mythical creature that has many meanings in different cultures. Like said before, this movie leaves a huge amount of content to be interpreted by the reader, so this scene can mean many things: self-expression, uniqueness, solidarity, hope, imagination, longingness, and a bunch of others. And these feelings can all be felt when seeing the color green. While researching for this video, I found a really cool website called Color Psychology, which discusses the effect on emotion and influence of color on humans. It goes into even the most obscure colors, highlighting the importance of these colors. For example, if we pick a random color, let's say magenta, the website says here that the color magenta is often associated with creativity and imagination. It is believed to stimulate original thought and innovation, making it a popular choice in creative industries. Magenta is also thought to encourage emotional balance, as it combines the physical energy of red with the calmness of blue. And this is only a fraction of things that the website can show, so go check it out if this interests you. I'll link it down in the description. Another important thing to address in this film is the tensions with color. Obviously, it is a very intentional placing of these colors, which, like I said in the beginning of the video, can help shape a viewer's experience when watching this movie. This can be linked to a work that my English class brought up. It's called Unflattening by Susanis. It mentions how there isn't only one way of learning, and more broadly, how there's so many paths that you can take to reach a certain goal. This novel is filled with liminal drawings from crazy perspectives that provoke the reader. This same idea can be applied to Blade Runner in color. Blade Runner was way ahead of its time in the use of color, and it even stands out in cinematography today. The sequel to Blade Runner also showcases this use of color, arguably even more prominent than the first one. The same principles with color can be seen in this movie, except yellow is now more present. It acts as almost a guiding path, only appearing in key moments within the film, like the flower under the tree. So let's go all the way back to the beginning of this video, and let's do some examples. We'll start off with this scene. This is the Leon interrogation scene, and we have this familiar blue color that we've talked about. It's the most common color in the film, and this feeling of anxiety pushes us to question what's going on in this scene, especially for people that have never seen this movie before. And because not a lot of stuff is being explained in this film, it leaves the audience to question what is going to happen, what's happening right now. It gives this really uncanny feeling of this scene. We have no idea where it's going to end. Another example is this scene. This is when Deckard goes to the Tyrell Corporation to meet Tyrell, and he ends up sitting in this office area illuminated by the sun. It is a very powerful scene, a very beautiful scene, and we'll use this example to kind of show that theory that I was talking about before, how if you change the color of the scene, it will completely morph the mood of the scene. So let's do it. So let's take this orange color and turn it into the same blue that we had before. To me, this makes the scene kind of sadder and less powerful, especially this frame right here, which I talked about in my presentation in class. It is a very strong scene where we can see the sun in the background, and it's that bright orange that signifies power and strength. And then we take that orange out of it and then that feeling out of it, and we're left with this kind of dull scene with its blue. So now let's switch it back to the orange color and see how it changes. It's much more bright, more fulfilling, and it's just much more powerful scene. And beginning to close off this video, I believe it is important for people to understand how color affects us in our daily lives. So here's some examples. White lab coats can make patients feel reassured that their doctor is qualified and respectable, whereas black sports uniforms has been proven to increase aggressiveness within the team. Red, being the most attractive color, is the most used color in marketing because of how much it pops. We also associate red with danger, which is why it is used on things like fire trucks or ambulances. Overall, I think that Blade Runner is an amazing example of how color can be deliberately used to change how viewers interact with film. Throughout this use of color, we are taken on a beautiful journey that is almost magical. The contrast between some scenes makes us question how we should be feeling in that moment and how we actually are. This is a great movie that goes underappreciated for this simple focus that people miss it entirely. Like I mentioned earlier on in the video, the second film goes way more in depth than the original with the application of color, but it took heavy inspiration from the stunning shots of the original Ridley Scott movie. Thank you so much for watching.